Hi and welcome to another episode of Toby's Barbecue Corner. Today we're making lime and dill infused smoked salmon. Now what you need for it and how to do it, I'm going to show you in this episode. Well guys, as you know, fish and barbecue always goes together, and especially salmon is a fantastic fish to do on the barbecue, whether you do it direct, indirect. You can cold smoke it, you can hot smoke it, you can do all sorts of things. It's very forgiving as well, as long as you don't overcook it. But yeah, so I'm going to show you now what to do and how to start and why this takes maybe a little bit more time than usual, but in the end it will come out even better. And this is what we need for today. Now, as I said, it will be very simple. So we're going to be using one side of salmon, and this one has roughly 750 grams. You need some salt, some pepper, some limes, some dill, a little bit of brown sugar. Now, as a side, I chose to do sweet potatoes, so we're just going to boil them and cut them up a little bit, and for that we're going to be using some butter later on. And you need one of those smoke boards, hickory if you can get it, because that will obviously release a lot of flavor into the fish. Now, I also suggest that you start early in the morning because you want to marinate the fish in all the ingredients we're going to mix up first. Let's start off with the marinade, and what you want to do is, sometimes those limes can be a bit tough. So what you want to do is, before you cut them, you just want to roll them around a little bit. It breaks down the inside part of the lime a little bit, makes it a little bit softer, and it makes it a lot easier to squeeze if you use your hands, to squeeze. But also what I'm going to be using is one of those handy little tools that my wife got us. Simply because I think it just makes it a lot easier. So we're just going to squeeze 4 limes into, a little bowl. Make sure we got all the juices out. We won't be needing them later on again. Sometimes you can stuff your salmon as well, but I think once it marinates, that should really be enough for today. So let's finish this off with the limes, and then we're going to chop up some of that dill, make it nice and small. Now you can go however heavy you want on the dill. Personally, I love dill with salmon. I think it just works awesome, but obviously that's entirely up to you how much or how little you want to use. And again, because we are going to be smoking it on a wooden board, you don't have to worry about the dill burning. So what I suggest you do, and I'm going to finish up the limes in a second, you just take, you take your dill, maybe not the thick part of it, but just rip it off the stem a little bit, and then you form a little ball, just like that, and then, you give it a couple of chops. Make it small. If you don't have any fresh dill, of course, you can always go with the dried dill, but obviously if you can get your hands on fresh ingredients, by all means, go for it. I think it just adds so much more flavor to your dish. Alright, I'm going to finish this off now, and I'll see you for the next step. There we go. The dill is cut up, the limes are in, so we take a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then a little bit of sugar just to offset the acidity from the limes a little bit. There we go. And then we give that a quick stir, make sure everything mixes nicely. There we go. And we're going to set it to the side. We're going to take care of the salmon for a second. Now with the salmon, obviously you can leave it in one piece. What I like to do, I like to cut it across, but not all the way through. So just make sure you use a sharp knife, but you don't go all the way to the bottom. Simply because when we're now going to marinate the fish, the marinade will actually go in between the fish meat and will penetrate it even further, and I personally really like that rather than just having that flavor just sitting on the top. So just like that. And then we're going to take our marinade, make sure everything's nicely mixed. And then we're going to drizzle it across. And then towards the end, we're just going to pour it. And that's why it's obviously also in this bowl. So it has a chance to sit in those juices. And we're now going to turn it around actually to make sure that the meat really sits in those juices and can marinate properly. Now, what I also suggest is, obviously depending on how long prior you do that, I assume you could do it probably the night before. Never tried that before though. But I'm sure anything will just add to the flavor. Alright, there we go. Make sure everything is covered a little bit. And then, obviously with clean hands, we're just going to turn this around and have it sit in those lime and dill juices until we need it later on. Right, the fish was in the marinade for about 2 hours. The board was in the water as well for about an hour. And what I've done is I've saved the rest of the marinade because we'll be using that later on to baste the fish as well. But let me tell you guys, it smells absolutely delicious already. So we're gonna go outside now on my gas barbecue. We're going to create an indirect zone and then we're going to cook it for roughly 20 to 25 minutes. The barbecue is sitting at about 200 degrees, indirect zone. So this burner is on, this burner is on, and we're just going to set it in the middle for about 20 to 25 minutes. About 15 minutes in, let's have a quick look, and we're going to give it a quick baste. But it's starting to smell really nice out here as the board is coming up to temperature. Exactly 25 minutes later, let's have a quick look. Yes, and the salmon starting to come along nicely. The color has changed very nicely. The board has smoked a little bit, so all these lovely flavors should be in the fish. So I'm gonna take this off. The sweet potatoes are done. We made a mash, so we're gonna plate up and I'm gonna show you the final product. Right guys, let's plate up. So what we actually ended up doing in our Thermomix was a sweet potato mash. I think it works perfectly fine with salmon. There we go. And then we're just going to take a nice big slice of our salmon straight from the board. Let me tell you guys, unfortunately we don't have smell-o-vision, but it smells absolutely delicious right here. Just have to separate it from each other. And I think alright guys, there we go. Lovely piece of salmon, still very nice and juicy in the center. Look how it fell apart. So absolutely fantastic. And there we have it guys, our lime and dill infused smoked salmon, and we're gonna dig in now. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video about our lime and dill smoked salmon. It was super delicious. The lime really, you know, you could taste it, but it wasn't pungent or anything. It was just a nice little supplement to the fish. And obviously the sweet potato mash really worked. Yeah, it really worked well. So we are all very happy. Now, if you did enjoy the video, I would appreciate a comment and a thumbs up. Please head over to that subscribe button for more great videos to come. And I hope to see you soon again at Toby's Barbecue Corner.